Aging is not a decline, but a deepening. In Buddhist wisdom, the passage of time is not something to resist, but something to understand. Each year that passes is another opportunity to walk more mindfully, to cultivate compassion, and to live with grace. As we journey through life, especially into our later years, the teachings of the Buddha offer timeless guidance to help us remain radiant, not just in appearance, but in spirit. This video, crafted with care and respect, explores 10 habits that harmonize with Buddhist principles. These habits are not about pretending to be young, nor are they about denying the natural changes of the body. Rather, they are gentle reminders of how we can age with elegance and joy, walking the path to inner peace with confidence and kindness. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not affected by praise or blame." Aging offers us the opportunity to become like that rock. Stable, wise, and unshaken by life's fluctuations. But to reach that place, we must cultivate habits that align with wisdom, mindfulness, and non-attachment. Whether you are in your late 30s, 50s, or 70s, this message is for you. If you are seeking emotional clarity, spiritual growth, and peace of mind, you are not alone. Many today feel lost as they grow older, struggling with identity, relationships, health, and purpose. But Buddhist teachings gently remind us that clarity does not come from resisting age, it comes from embracing it. In the next moments, we will reflect deeply on 10 habits that can transform the way we age. These are not rules or demands, but gentle companions for your journey. You'll hear authentic stories that reflect everyday challenges, and teachings that have guided countless souls toward freedom. These habits are timeless not because they are old, but because they continue to work. Stay with us. Let this be your pause. Let this be your moment of stillness. And perhaps, by the end of this video, you will feel more at home in your skin, more centered in your heart, and more inspired to walk your path with lightness and grace. Let us begin with the first timeless habit: how to dress for your soul, not just your age. In the stillness of aging, our relationship with how we present ourselves changes, and Buddhist wisdom invites us to approach even our clothing as a reflection of mindfulness and self-respect. There is a quiet yet profound power in how we choose to adorn our bodies each day. In Buddhist tradition, garments are not merely decoration, they are extensions of our inner state. The Buddha himself wore simple robes, not out of rejection of beauty, but to remain untethered from vanity and distraction. As we grow older, society often pushes messages about what we should or shouldn't wear, imposing expectations rooted in fear, attachment, or an obsession with youth. But Buddhist teachings offer a gentler voice, asking instead, does this reflect who I am becoming? To dress for your soul means aligning your outer appearance with your inner serenity. It's about choosing clothes that are kind to your body and soothing to your spirit, soft textures, calm colors, and shapes that move with your breath, not against it. This habit is not about fashion or impressing others. It is about truth, living in harmony with yourself, free from roles and expectations. Consider the story of Miko, a 72-year-old widow from Kyoto. After the loss of her husband, she drifted into grief and silence, her days shadowed in stillness. Her wardrobe slowly became a sea of grays and muted blacks, reflecting the absence she carried inside. One spring morning, she reluctantly joined a meditation retreat at the invitation of her niece. During a quiet session, the monk spoke of how our outer form can reflect the light of our soul when chosen with care. That evening, something stirred in her. When she returned home, she opened a drawer she hadn't touched in years and found a silk lavender shawl, a gift from her husband on their 40th anniversary. She gently wrapped it around her shoulders and looked into the mirror, not to judge, but to remember. That moment was a soft awakening. The next day, she wore it to the park. The color caught the breeze and sunlight, and a child nearby smiled at her. From then on, she began to dress each morning not out of duty, but devotion. Each outfit became a ritual: tea, quiet, then selecting garments that honored her mood, her body, and her life story. When I walk now, Miko says, I feel I am walking with the years I have lived, not away from them. Her story is a living teaching. Dressing for your soul means honoring who you are now, not who you were or who others expect you to be. It means letting go of clothes that pinch, colors that dull you, or styles that drain your joy. Some find deep meaning in a signature look, a scarf that tells a story, a ring that once belonged to a mother, or a favorite pair of worn-in shoes. These become quiet emblems of identity, worn not for the world's gaze, but for the soul's ease. In the words of the Buddha, with mindfulness, strive on. Even how we dress can be a practice of mindfulness. Each garment can be chosen with love, each morning a new canvas. As you age, let your clothing reflect dignity, not disguise. Let your body be celebrated, not concealed. Let every thread you wear be an act of peace. Simplicity is elegance. Comfort is confidence. And when your outer self aligns with your inner calm, you walk through the world not needing to be seen, only needing to be whole. Let us now gently turn to the second timeless habit, why learning and growing is the secret to staying sharp and youthful. As the body matures, so too must the mind remain curious. In Buddhism, the concept of beginner's mind, a mind open, eager, and free of preconceptions, is considered a gateway to wisdom and vitality. Too often, aging is portrayed as a slowing down or a closing off, but in truth, it can be a period of rich intellectual and emotional blossoming. Staying sharp and youthful does not come from denying age, but from nourishing the spirit through ongoing learning and meaningful growth. Just as water becomes stagnant when it stops moving, so too can the mind if it ceases to be inspired. Lifelong learning doesn't have to mean formal schooling. It can be as simple as picking up a paintbrush for the first time, reading about a new philosophy, learning to cook a different cuisine, practicing meditation, or even learning how to use a new phone or social media to connect with distant loved ones. It can mean volunteering, gardening, writing memoirs, joining book clubs, or exploring the Dharma with deeper sincerity. Each of these acts keeps the mind limber, the heart open, and the soul engaged. Consider the inspiring story of Barbara Lee, a retired nurse from Oregon. At 68, Barbara had been widowed for 5 years, and her daily routine had grown dull and repetitive. One day, she found an old watercolor set in her garage. Something about the untouched brushes stirred something in her. She signed up for a local beginner's art class at the community center. What began as a casual hobby soon became a deep passion. She started painting every morning with her tea, often capturing simple images of her garden or childhood memories. The colors she used became symbols of healing. Through learning the basics of color mixing and brush strokes, she reawakened her creative joy. But the growth didn't stop there. Her art teacher introduced her to an online gallery space, and Barbara, with the help of her grandson, learned how to create an Instagram page to share her work. I used to be afraid of technology, she said, laughing. Now I use it to share beauty. Her page, Brushes of Grace, now has over 10,000 followers and has connected her with other older artists around the world. But more importantly, she says, I feel alive. My brain is excited. I have purpose again. What Barbara discovered is something the Buddha often taught, that growth is not tied to age, it is tied to intention. When we choose to keep learning, we remain mentally agile and emotionally vibrant. And this learning can take countless forms. Some elders are now learning new languages via mobile apps, retirees are taking up digital photography, writing poetry, or starting vegetable gardens to reconnect with the earth. Seniors are joining community storytelling circles or taking part in virtual meditation groups to explore mindfulness. All of these practices light up the brain and soothe the heart. Learning keeps us humble, because we accept we don't know everything. It keeps us curious, because we ask questions again. And it keeps us youthful, because it activates wonder, something often lost in adulthood. Buddhist teachings remind us that the mind can be refreshed at any stage of life. There is no expiration date on learning. The more we grow inside, the more spacious we become. Our memory may shift, but our capacity for wisdom, creativity, and love only expands with experience. So let your golden years be years of discovery. Pick up that book on Buddhist poetry. Try a new recipe from another culture. Join an online class in Tai Chi, philosophy, or calligraphy. Learn to identify bird songs. Memorize a new chant. Share your wisdom with younger generations through writing or speaking. Or simply sit, listen, and let the world continue to teach you. There is an old Zen saying, "You are only as young as your curiosity." Let that curiosity bloom. With each new thing you learn, with each act of growth, you soften the grip of aging and instead embrace it as an unfolding. Be like the lotus that continues to rise, even through murky waters. To stay sharp, keep asking questions. To stay youthful, keep seeking beauty. Learning is not just an act of intellect, it is a celebration of being alive. Now we gently step into habit 3, the importance of mindful movement and how it can transform your health, a practice rooted deeply in Buddhist and Zen wisdom, where movement is not just exercise but a living meditation. In our fast-paced world, motion is often reduced to productivity or performance, but from the perspective of mindfulness, movement becomes sacred when it is aligned with presence and breath. The body is not a machine to be disciplined, but a temple to be honored, listened to, and lovingly moved. Mindful movement, whether it is as subtle as walking or as flowing as Tai Chi, reconnects us with the present moment. In Buddhist monasteries, monks walk slowly after meals, not for fitness, but to digest in silence and cultivate gratitude with every step. Each gesture becomes an act of devotion. There is a well-known Zen story in which a young monk was sweeping the temple grounds with great care. An elder watched and smiled, saying, "You are not sweeping the leaves, you are sweeping your heart." This parable reminds us that when we move with awareness, we cleanse not just the body, but the clutter of the mind and the heaviness of the heart. For those of us in later years, this truth becomes even more important, not to chase youth, but to preserve vitality, peace, and clarity. Consider the inspiring real-life journey of David Harris, a 74-year-old retired schoolteacher living in Byron Bay. After decades spent in the classroom and then years of retirement, David found himself slowing down, not in the gentle way of aging with grace, but with stiffness, fatigue, and an increasing sense of disconnection from his body. He accepted it as inevitable, what he called the quiet shrinking of life. His movements became small, his energy dulled, and his once bright mood often clouded. That changed during a visit to see his daughter, who invited him to a movement and meditation session in a local park. Reluctantly, he agreed. There under a canopy of trees, David joined others his age in a gentle Tai Chi class. The movements were slow and circular, guided by breath and silence. To his surprise, he didn't feel strained or awkward, he felt calm. The rhythm soothed him. There was no pressure to perform, only an invitation to be present. That first experience awakened something dormant. When he returned home, David began practicing each morning on his veranda. 10 minutes became 20. His back pain eased, his mood lightened, and his sense of embodiment returned. He later joined a local mindful walking group and now leads a small circle of seniors every Wednesday, guiding others through gentle stretches and walking meditations. "I don't feel younger," he says with a warm laugh, "I feel more alive." His story reminds us that movement doesn't have to be strenuous to be transformational. It simply needs to be mindful, infused with breath, intention, and care. And in our daily lives, mindful movement can take many beautiful forms: stretching slowly in the morning sun while tuning into the rhythm of your breath, walking through your garden while listening to the sounds of birds and wind, or even washing dishes with presence, feeling the temperature of the water and the smoothness of each plate. Some may enjoy light yoga or Tai Chi, while others might find joy in dancing gently to music that brings memories alive. Taking the stairs slowly and purposefully, doing simple household chores with focused attention, or just walking barefoot on the grass, all these acts become opportunities for mindfulness. The aim is not to burn calories but to return to the body, to listen, to respond with kindness. In Zen, it is said that the way you move is the way you live. If we rush, force, or resist our bodies, we often carry that same habit into how we treat ourselves emotionally. But if we move with gentleness, awareness, and intention, we begin to soften the inner noise, to release tension, and to awaken an inner vitality that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with alignment. The Buddha himself taught that awareness of the body is the first foundation of mindfulness. This is not mere philosophy, it is practical wisdom that invites us to bring our full presence into motion. When we practice mindful movement, we are not trying to escape aging, but we are choosing to age with grace, to remain engaged with life, and to care for our bodies not out of fear, but out of love. Let your movement be your meditation. Let each stretch, each step, each breath become a reminder, you are alive, and your body is worthy of gentle celebration. Whether it is walking beneath trees, swaying to music, or simply standing still and breathing deeply, know that each act of mindful movement carries the power to restore your health, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. In this quiet practice, we find not just flexibility, but freedom. Not just balance, but belonging. Not just strength, but serenity. Now let us gently step into habit 4, how to embrace your silver crown and wear it with pride, a practice of deep self-respect and spiritual grace. In a world that often values youth over wisdom, many feel the pressure to cover their gray hair, to hide signs of aging, to chase a reflection of who they once were instead of honoring who they've become. But from the lens of Buddhist thought, aging is not something to be feared or masked, it is a sacred unfolding, a natural transition into deeper understanding, greater compassion, and quiet strength. The silver strands upon your head are not marks of decline but symbols of experience, each one a story, a lesson, a memory. True beauty in Buddhist teachings arises from authenticity, not appearance. When we stop resisting age and begin to see it as a part of our spiritual path, we find immense peace. There is a well-known Zen story of a woman named Tomiko who lived at the edge of a forest near an old monastery in Japan. She was known in her village for her long, silver hair that flowed like moonlight and for the calm presence she carried wherever she went. One day, a young nun from the monastery came to her door and asked, "How do you walk with such dignity?" "I fear growing old." Tomiko invited her in for tea. She said, "When I first saw my gray hair, I wept. I thought beauty had left me. But then one autumn morning, I sat under the ginkgo tree and watched its golden leaves fall, not in sorrow, but in grace. That day, I stopped dyeing my hair. I realized that to age is to align with nature, not fight it. My silver hair became my prayer flag, fluttering in honor of all I have lived." The young nun listened with tears and later shared this lesson at the monastery, saying that Tomiko had taught her more than any sutra. Just like the falling leaf or the full moon, our silver crown is nature's own symbol of completeness. Embracing it is not about resignation, it is a declaration of peace. When you wear your age openly, you give permission for others to do the same. You walk into the world saying, "I am no longer performing youth. I am embodying truth." And with that shift, a deeper form of elegance appears. A soft scarf wrapped around silver hair, a gentle smile from a lined face, eyes that have seen sorrow and still shine with kindness, this is beauty that no mirror can define. When you step into a room with your silver crown revealed, you bring with you the stories of all the years you've lived. And that presence is powerful. Rather than covering the gray or fearing judgment, allow yourself to look in the mirror and say, "I have arrived at this moment honestly." Let the silver be a light, not a shadow. Let it be your reminder that aging is not fading, it is refining. The Buddha taught that impermanence is the law of life, and it is through this gentle acceptance that we find peace. So instead of resisting each strand of silver, bow to it. Thank it. Wear it not just with pride, but with reverence. Walk with your silver crown like a monk walks with their robes, not to attract attention, but to reflect clarity, simplicity, and calm strength. Let it be your silent statement that you no longer chase approval, you rest in inner dignity. And in doing so, you become not just older, but wiser, not just aged, but awakened. This is the beauty of embracing your silver crown. It becomes a symbol not of endings, but of a luminous, living wisdom that shines from within. Let us now gently explore Habit 5. Tips for maintaining a healthy body, because a healthy life is a happy life, a truth so simple yet often overlooked in the rush of our modern lives. In Buddhist teachings, the body is regarded as a precious vessel, temporary, ever-changing, but vital for our journey toward mindfulness, compassion, and awakening. To maintain this body is not a selfish act, but a sacred responsibility. Just as a monk carefully tends to his alms bowl, we too must tend to our physical form with patience, care, and gratitude. A healthy body supports a calm mind, and together, they create the foundation for inner peace. Begin with food, not from fear or guilt, but from awareness. Eat mindfully, choose slowly, and choose nourishment that supports energy and clarity rather than confusion and heaviness. Think of food not as a reward or escape, but as fuel for your spiritual walk. Favor fresh vegetables, whole grains, clean water, and seasonal fruits, foods that are alive, vibrant, and light. When eating, pause and give thanks. Even a simple bowl of rice becomes a moment of connection when eaten in mindfulness. Movement, too, is essential, not for appearance, but for flow. Your body, like the wind or the river, is meant to move. Whether it's walking slowly in the morning sun, practicing gentle yoga, dancing alone in your room, or doing light housework with presence, every mindful movement stirs energy, improves circulation, and balances emotions. The Buddha himself walked for miles each day, not to reach a destination, but as a form of meditation in motion. Rest is equally important. In a culture that glorifies busyness, we must relearn the sacredness of sleep and stillness. A rested body heals faster, thinks clearer, and feels lighter. Create a calming bedtime ritual, dim the lights, avoid screens, drink warm herbal tea, or simply sit in silence. Let your body know it is safe to surrender. Hydration is another small but powerful habit. Drinking pure water regularly not only refreshes the body but cleanses the mind, easing tension and inviting clarity. Air too is healing. Step outside, breathe deeply, let your lungs expand, and feel the life that flows with each inhale. The breath is your bridge between body and mind. Prioritize preventive care, not with fear, but with wisdom. Regular checkups, respectful hygiene, and awareness of how your body feels day by day are acts of self-compassion. Do not wait for pain to listen. Listen now. Your body whispers before it shouts. And just as important as food and movement is your relationship with stress. Chronic stress can wear down the body like rain on stone. Learn to pause. To breathe. To smile gently at yourself. Meditation is medicine for both body and soul. Even 5 minutes a day can reset your entire system. A happy life is not built on extremes or perfection, but on balance. You do not need to follow every trend or diet. You only need to return to simplicity. Wake up with the sun. Stretch your arms in gratitude. Eat what makes you feel light. Move with joy. Rest with purpose. Love your body not for how it looks, but for how faithfully it carries you through every season of life. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, keeping your body healthy is an expression of gratitude to the whole cosmos. So let your daily choices reflect that gratitude. In your footsteps, your meals, your rest, honor this body as a temple, not a burden. For when you care for your body with love and intention, you are not just preventing illness, you are cultivating joy. And that joy radiates into everything you touch. A healthy life is not distant. It is already here, in your next breath, your next step, your next small choice made in peace. Let us now gently unfold Habit 6, the power of kindness and how it's the true mark of elegance, a timeless truth whispered in every spiritual tradition and echoed deeply in Buddhist teachings. While modern culture often defines elegance by what we wear or how we appear, true refinement is revealed not through fabric or fashion, but through our actions, our tone, and our ability to uplift others without seeking anything in return. Kindness, in its purest form, is the soft light that radiates from within. It asks for no recognition, yet it transforms everyone it touches. In Buddhism, kindness is called metta, loving kindness, the practice of wishing well for all beings, even those we struggle to understand. It is not passive or sentimental. It is strength in softness. It is the grace to respond with compassion where others react with anger. One Zen story tells of an old tea master in a small Japanese village, revered for his peaceful manner and gentle smile. Every morning, he would sweep the temple courtyard and offer tea to anyone who passed by, monks, children, beggars, travelers. He bowed with the same respect to all. One afternoon, a wealthy nobleman, dressed in silk and elegance, visited the temple. Annoyed that the tea master did not rise or fawn over him, he said, "Don't you know who I am?" The tea master simply poured the tea and said, "Here even a cup of tea reminds us we are equal." The nobleman, shamed by such quiet dignity, removed his jeweled ring and offered it to the tea master, who only smiled and replied, "True wealth is not what we give away, but what we never needed in the first place." This moment of humble wisdom transformed the nobleman, who later returned not with riches, but with humility, and served tea beside the master in silence. Such is the power of kindness. It disarms pride, soothes sorrow, and reveals the true character of the giver. Kindness is not weakness. It requires great courage to stay soft in a hard world, to speak gently when misunderstood, to extend a hand when it's easier to turn away. It's in the small things. Letting someone go ahead in line, checking on a neighbor, listening without interrupting, smiling at a stranger, or silently wishing peace for the person who just hurt you. These moments accumulate, not to earn praise, but to water the seeds of grace within you. Kindness also includes how we speak to ourselves. To age with elegance means to forgive our mistakes, to bless the body that has carried us, and to offer patience to the mind that still sometimes struggles. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how you treat others. And when we practice kindness inwardly, we naturally overflow it outwardly. Elegant aging is not about resisting time, but about softening into it with love. Imagine a tree in winter, bare, yet still noble. It no longer blooms, but it stands with presence. So too do we, when we let go of needing to be admired and choose instead to be a source of comfort. In a world chasing perfection, kindness is radical. It is a quiet revolution. It says, "I see you. I honor you. And I offer peace." This is what makes someone truly unforgettable. Not their titles, not their looks, but the warmth they leave behind in every room. Let us age, then, not by the clock, but by the compassion we carry. Let our kindness be our crown. Let our gentleness be our strength. And let us walk through life like the old tea master, with a calm presence, an open hand, and a heart so full it needs no praise, only the joy of giving. Now we explore Habit 7, a healthy life is a happy life, a truth as simple as it is profound. In the stillness of Buddhist wisdom, the body is not something to conquer or perfect, it is a sacred vehicle for awareness, a temple for mindfulness, and a partner on the path to peace. When our bodies are cared for with love and balance, our minds become clearer, our emotions steadier, and joy becomes more accessible. Health is not just the absence of illness, it is vitality, clarity, and harmony between body, mind, and spirit. The story of 68-year-old Mary Ellis from Oregon beautifully illustrates this connection. After retiring early due to stress-related health issues, high blood pressure, joint pain, and frequent fatigue, Mary found herself spiraling into anxiety and depression. She had spent years prioritizing her job over her well-being, skipping meals, ignoring exercise, and numbing her exhaustion with fast food and long hours of TV. One day, during a routine checkup, her doctor quietly said, "You're not sick yet, but you're walking straight toward it." That sentence, delivered without judgment, sparked something in her. Mary decided to change, not overnight, but mindfully. She began by walking around her block every morning, even when her knees protested. She swapped processed foods for colorful fruits and vegetables. She learned simple breathwork from a local meditation class and committed to drinking water like it was medicine. The results weren't instant, but within 6 months, her energy began to return. Her blood pressure stabilized, her moods lifted, and she started volunteering at a local community garden, where she found not just purpose, but joy. It wasn't about being skinny or young, Mary says. It was about feeling alive again. Now, at nearly 70, she says she feels better than she did in her 50s, not because she reversed time, but because she honored the time she has. Mary's story is not about perfection. It is about consistency, mindfulness, and the quiet strength that grows from taking small steps toward healing. A healthy life is a happy life because it allows you to participate fully in each moment, rather than merely endure it. Health supports presence. It allows us to play with our grandchildren, to cook meals with joy, to wake without dread, and to move through the day with steadiness. When the body is nourished, the heart becomes lighter. When the body is active, the mind becomes less restless. In Buddhist teachings, caring for the body is not an act of vanity, but of compassion. The Buddha encouraged balance, not indulgence, not deprivation. Sleep well, eat mindfully, move daily, breathe deeply. These are simple, sacred acts of honoring life. Your body is not your enemy, it is your ally. It has carried you through every moment, every sorrow, and every triumph. To treat it with kindness is to say thank you. A healthy life also protects your peace. It reduces suffering, not just physical, but emotional. It gives you the resilience to face change with grace and the energy to follow what brings you meaning. The path to health is not a straight line, nor is it one size fits all. For some, it begins with letting go of sugar. For others, it begins with walking in the morning sun. Wherever it begins, let it be gentle. Let it be joyful. And let it be enough. You do not need to run marathons or become a wellness guru. You simply need to listen to your body, honor its needs, and remember that every small act of self-care is a seed of happiness. So breathe, move, rest, nourish and love the vessel that holds your spirit. A happy life is not found in striving, it is found in aligning. And there is no greater alignment than a body that is honored and a soul that is at peace. Let us now reflect on Habit 8, choose your circle wisely, a lesson deeply rooted in both Buddhist wisdom and lived experience. In a world overflowing with noise, opinions, and surface-level connections, the people we allow close to our hearts hold great power. They can either nourish our peace or drain our light. The Buddha taught that spiritual friendship, or kalyamitha, is not merely a luxury but a necessity on the path to awakening. Who walks beside you matters. Just as water takes the shape of its container, we too are shaped by the emotional climate of those around us. If your circle is built with gossip, negativity, comparison, and chaos, your inner world will struggle to remain calm. But if your circle is formed with kindness, mindfulness, truthfulness, and support, your soul will find space to breathe. A Zen story tells of an elderly monk named Rinji, who lived in a quiet monastery high in the mountains. Rinji was known for his unwavering peace and joy, even in old age. A younger monk, discontent and easily agitated, once asked him, "Master, how do you remain so calm when people are often rude or restless?" Rinji smiled and said, "When I was your age, I thought I had to fix everyone. I thought if I loved hard enough, I could calm their storms. But the more storms I entered, the more I lost my own peace. One winter, I stood outside and watched a pine tree sway gently in the snow. It bent, but did not break. Around it were dead branches that snapped in the wind. That's when I realized, only those who can bend with peace can remain by my side. So I stopped chasing broken branches, and I chose to stand beside trees that swayed, but stood." The young monk was silent. Rinji added, your circle should not need your saving. It should help you stay still. This story reminds us that we do not owe our energy to everyone, especially those who dim our light. Choosing your circle wisely is an act of compassion, not just for yourself, but for others too. When we surround ourselves with people who value honesty, inner growth, presence, and joy, we rise. Their influence gently shapes our habits, our language, our values. They become mirrors of who we are becoming. It is not about perfection, nor about numbers. A wise circle might include only 1 or 2 people, but their presence will be gold. These are the ones who hold space for your silence, who celebrate your peace more than your performance, who speak truth with softness, and who walk beside you without pulling you away from your center. In choosing your circle, ask, do I feel more grounded after spending time with them? Do I feel free to be sincere, or do I wear a mask to belong? Do they add to my clarity or my confusion? Let go of relationships that are transactional, manipulative, or chronically draining. Let go with compassion, not bitterness. It is not unkind to protect your peace, it is wise. Just as we filter the water we drink and the food we eat, we must filter the energy we absorb. A healthy circle uplifts without competing, supports without controlling, and holds space without judgment. In Buddhist practice, this is the Sangha, a community of awakening souls walking gently together. You deserve such a circle. You deserve peace that isn't followed by anxiety. You deserve laughter that doesn't carry an aftertaste of guilt. And most of all, you deserve to grow among those who encourage your becoming, not mourn your evolution. So choose your circle not by history, but by harmony. Choose those who help you stay true, stay light, and stay free. Let us now turn to habit 9, laugh often, laugh freely, a gentle yet profound reminder that joy is not a luxury reserved for the young, but a birthright of the present moment, accessible at any age and in every stage of life. In the calm rhythm of Buddhist teachings, laughter is seen not as foolishness or noise, but as the spontaneous release of suffering, an expression of freedom from attachment and ego. The Buddha himself was known to smile often, a soft, knowing smile that came from inner clarity rather than external comedy. Laughter, in its purest form, is a sign that the heart is light. Not because life is perfect, but because the spirit has loosened its grip on needing everything to be a certain way. It is the sound of acceptance, of surrender, and of stillness unburdened. A Zen story tells of a young novice named Tamo, who was constantly serious in his practice. He meditated for hours, walked mindfully, and followed every rule with rigid precision. Yet, he never smiled. One day, while serving tea to the old Zen master Daiji, Tamo accidentally spilled hot water on the tatami mat. Expecting scolding, he bowed in shame. But to his surprise, Master Daiji burst into laughter. "The mat is not angry," he chuckled, "and neither am I. It is simply water finding its way." Tamo blinked, confused. "But I failed." Daiji smiled and said, "True failure is forgetting joy. The Dharma is not a punishment, it is a dance. Why carry a heavy face when the world is already full of burdens?" That day, Tamo laughed for the first time, not from amusement, but from realization. He saw that laughter could be reverent, healing, and deeply spiritual. In the days that followed, his practice remained strong, but now it was infused with gentleness. He smiled at the birds, chuckled when the wind tossed his robe, and laughed openly when he forgot something small. And with that lightness, his mind became clearer. This story reminds us that laughter is not a departure from wisdom, it is a companion to it. Laughter breaks tension, eases the grip of fear, and returns us to the breath. It opens the chest, softens the heart, and realigns us with the now. As we age, the world may try to convince us that joy must shrink, that laughter belongs to youth. But this is not the way. In truth, elders who laugh easily carry an elegance that no wrinkle can diminish. Their eyes sparkle with stories, and their smiles echo resilience. To laugh often is to say, "I am still alive in this moment, and I choose lightness over bitterness. It does not mean we deny pain, but that we do not let pain define the whole story. Laugh freely with your grandchildren, with your friends, with strangers even. Laugh when the toast burns, when the socks don't match, when your phone slips under the couch again. Let laughter remind you of your humanness and humility. Let it rise without guilt and fall without apology. Practice laughing with your full self, not from sarcasm, but sincerity. Not to mask pain, but to lift it. Even alone, allow yourself moments of joy. Read something that makes you smile. Watch the birds chase each other outside. Recall a silly memory and let it fill your chest. Laughter is the music of a soul that has not been defeated by age. So let it come. Let it echo through your home, through your body, through your life. For in laughter, there is healing. In laughter, there is freedom. And in laughter, there is the beautiful, ageless sound of a soul at peace. As we arrive at the final habit, habit 10, never stop evolving, we are gently reminded that aging is not a conclusion, it's a continuation, a deeper unfolding of who we are. In the calm flow of life, evolution does not end with retirement, gray hair, or grown children, rather, it becomes more meaningful, more personal, and more intentional. To never stop evolving is to understand that growth is not just for the young, it is the sacred duty and joy of every stage of life. Growth can take the form of learning something new, adapting to changes with grace, exploring inner stillness, or even letting go of beliefs that no longer serve us. Evolution is not always dramatic, it's often quiet, a soft shift in how we see the world and respond to it. One moving real-life story that echoes this truth is that of 78-year-old Laverne Cox of Austin, Texas, not the actress, but a retired nurse who, after losing her husband and facing deep loneliness, decided to reinvent her life completely. For decades, Laverne had been defined by caregiving, first to patients, then to her husband. When he passed away, she felt invisible, unneeded, and hollow. One morning, while cleaning the attic, she found a sketchbook from her teenage years. She had forgotten she used to love drawing. That small rediscovery sparked something in her. She began sketching again, shaky at first, but committed. Then she signed up for a beginner's art class at a local community college. Surrounded by students 50 years younger, she felt awkward, but she also felt alive. Her drawings improved. Her heart softened. Her purpose reignited. Eventually, she opened a small Etsy shop, selling gentle watercolor prints inspired by her life experiences. She called it Seasons of Stillness. Today, Laverne teaches art to other seniors at the community center, reminding them that it's never too late to become someone new. Her story is not one of fame, but of quiet triumph, proof that evolution is possible at any age, if only we are willing to begin again. To never stop evolving means to be curious about yourself, to look inward and ask, what haven't I yet explored? It could be creativity, spirituality, forgiveness, or courage. It could mean speaking up for the first time, or finally finding peace in silence. The outer world may slow down as we age, but the inner world can continue expanding without limit. Each day offers an invitation to reflect, refine, and renew. Read a book you never thought you'd like. Try meditation. Learn a new recipe. Visit a museum. Start journaling. Revisit an old passion or make a new friend. Say yes to something small. Let your heart and mind remain open, like a window that still catches the morning sun. Don't allow age to become a boundary, let it be a bridge to deeper becoming. Remember, a tree does not stop growing after it reaches a certain height, it expands, deepens its roots, bears fruit in new seasons. And so can you. Even the lotus, a symbol of spiritual awakening, blooms continuously, rising again and again from murky waters. So too, your evolution can emerge from any season of life, grief, joy, solitude, or transition. The true mark of a fulfilled life is not perfection, but transformation. Keep evolving, not because you are broken, but because you are alive. You are still a canvas, still a seed, still a traveler on a path that leads inward and upward. Let every day be a gentle unfolding. Let your soul stretch toward wisdom, peace, and possibility. For as long as there is breath, there is room to grow. Never stop evolving. Because your spirit is timeless, your potential is endless, and your journey is far from over. As we come to the end of this heartfelt journey through the 10 habits that nurture peace, presence, and a deeply fulfilling life in our later years, let us take a quiet breath together and reflect. Each habit we explored was offered not as a commandment, but as a gentle suggestion, like the soft brush of wind through tall grass, reminding us to live more intentionally. From learning how to dress for your soul and not just your age, to discovering the joy of ongoing learning and growth, we walked through practices that honor the soul's quiet wisdom. We spoke of mindful movement that brings energy and clarity, of the grace in embracing your silver crown without apology, of the small, daily choices that nourish the body and uplift the spirit. We looked closely at kindness, the true mark of elegance, and the healing found in laughter, simplicity, healthy relationships, and the courage to keep evolving no matter our age. Each message carried with it a silent wish, that you may find your own rhythm, your own peace, and your own gentle strength along the way. Aging is not a loss of beauty or relevance, it is the deepening of both. It is not a slow disappearance, but a luminous unfolding. These years are not about becoming less, they are about becoming true. You are not behind, you are exactly where your soul needs you to be. Now, dear viewer, we offer the light back to you. This is your moment to look inward and then share outward. What part of today's reflection spoke to your heart? What truth resonated like a bell in the distance? We warmly invite you to share your thoughts, stories, or quiet realizations in the comments below. Tell us which habit already lives in you, and which one you feel ready to explore. Perhaps you've experienced your own turning point, a moment where you reclaimed your voice, your health, your style, your stillness. Perhaps you've walked through grief, or change, or growth in a way others could learn from. Do not think your story is too small to matter. In this space, we honor every step, every stumble, every small beginning. Your words might become the very comfort someone else is searching for. So, please, don't scroll away in silence. Write something. Be part of this circle. And if this video brought you comfort, reflection, or even a moment of calm, we would be so grateful if you gave it a like. It helps others find this content, and it tells us that these messages are worth continuing. If you feel someone in your life might benefit from this video, consider sharing it with them. You never know what ripple of healing or connection it could create. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we lovingly invite you to do so now. Subscribing ensures that you never miss a new video, a new meditation, or a new reminder to pause and breathe. Click the bell icon so you're gently reminded when something new arrives here. This channel is not just content, it is community. It is a quiet space where we age with intention, where we speak with kindness, where we remember that our lives are sacred, no matter how many years have passed. Come back whenever you need a reminder of your worth, your wisdom, or your ability to begin again. Let this be a beginning, not an end. A choice to live more deeply rooted in the present. A vow to yourself to keep moving with grace, to keep choosing softness, to keep showing up. You are not alone on this journey. We see you. We honor your path. And we are so glad you're here. Thank you for walking this path with us. We can't wait to hear your story.